Hey guys, this is Matt, and in today's video we are hatching an OpenClaw with Obsidian. So this is a beginner training, a walkthrough of how to create marketing and operations automation using these platforms. So by the end of this, you're going to have an AI teammate that is running on your local machine that knows your personal knowledge, knows your business, is able to create leads, draft content, do market research, track competitors, remembers everything because it's not just memory. It's folders in the memory of Obsidian that you own locally on your machine. So let's dive into it. First thing is all of that. That's what we're going to be going through. Again, I'm not going to read every single thing on the page, but what I want to do is have some call outs in here, and then I'll build it with you in real time, and you'll be able to see what that deployment looks like. I'm on a Mac. I'll also walk through PC as well. So here's the breakdown. It's a three-part picture. We have Obsidian for the brain. We have OpenClaw, and that's the hands, the voice, the scheduler, so forth. And then pairing them together is the persistent memory and that autonomy that we're looking for. And this was what was originally pitched to us with OpenClaw, and it just drops memory. Like, it won't remember what you did a couple weeks ago. I admit it has gotten better. I deployed my first OpenClaw back in January of this year, and it is getting better. The updates have gotten better, but still there's a gap in between what it knows and what it remembers and how it executes. And it takes up a lot of time if you're continuously having to give more context and so forth. Also, this will help lower your token usage as you're giving it the context of the specific task of what it's trying to do. And it will help drive down costs as well. So it's going to be smarter, drive down cost, and be more effective inside of your business, which, you know, who doesn't want an employee that does a better job, right? So here's a breakdown of some of the prerequisites. We have hardware and operating system. You can use a Mac OS 13 or newer. And I've deployed this on several different Mac machines, so it's worked great for me. You don't need to go and buy a new machine just to get it working and get a proof of concept. But once you do get a proof of concept and you do want it to run 24/7 autonomous, you might want to have a dedicated machine for it and isolate it and make sure it doesn't do anything stupid and so forth. Yeah, security is really important. Also, I have a security video. You can go and watch that later. It really walk through a lot of the security protocols that you can create and put in place for OpenClaw and so forth. But we won't dive too deep into this. We have that other video dedicated to that. And also, we're going to be talking about Windows, so I'm going to walk through that. Right now I'm on a Mac machine, but I also run on Windows, and it was really easy to deploy, so I'll be able to walk you through that. So on software, Node.js, it's a free software. You'll be able to check yours just by putting in Node version and so forth. Again, I'm going to show you on terminal in a couple minutes how to get this deployed. Then you're going to need an AI model. I'm going to use OpenAI with OAuth, so ChatGPT with OAuth. I'm going to be using this for the walkthrough, but you can use Claude with the API tokens. Note that Claude has stopped the OAuth ability, or they will ban your account if you use Claude OAuth, meaning logging into your Claude account through OpenClaw. Don't do that. You're going to possibly get your account banned for that, so please don't do that. But you can use API credits, so you can go to I believe it's platform.anthropic.com, so you can go there. So sorry about that. It is platform. So you can go there and grab that. Google Gemini, it has a free offer, free tier. OpenAI, I use OpenAI. You can use the API credits, or you can use OAuth with OpenAI. As of right now, I'm recording this June 2nd, 2026. They are allowing for that. So I'm going to be walking through that. And also, we're going to talk about having a GitHub account. So you can set that up for free. And all it's going to do is just sync that Obsidian Vault up to GitHub, so you have a nice backup of it, because it's a lot of that knowledge base that you have. And Telegram, which is a free account that you can set that up. It's easy to wire it up, and that can be how you communicate from your mobile device to your OpenClaw agent that has full context of all of your projects and everything that it's working on. So for Windows, you'll need to enable WSL2 So you'll need to go to PowerShell as administrator. You might need to right click on it and then install WSL install, and then you might need to reboot your machine. And then from there, you'll be able to open terminal and then run that through Windows. So just something to bring up. So first thing, we're going to go to Obsidian and we're going to install it. So here's Obsidian. I can click to install it, and now it's downloading, and then I'll be able to install it from there once it downloads. So we'll do that. On first launch, you can create a new vault. So we'll walk through creating the vault. Again, a vault is just a structure of all of your files and so forth, and drag that in. I believe I don't already have it installed. Okay, perfect. So now Obsidian is installed, and I'll be able to open that. I have all of my apps inside of here, Obsidian, and I'll be able to open Obsidian and walk through the install. So I just want to walk you guys through this to see how easy it is to actually walk through this. So you can do a quick start, or create the vault. Vault name is let's just call it my company name, media, and projects. We'll just say projects, and got to pick a folder. And we'll throw it into projects, and we'll just throw it in there. Create. And here's your vault. You have installed Obsidian. Very easy. Now let's, we don't need that screen anymore. And let's go through and start planning out how to put things together. So just as an orientation, each thing will have a hash value and then the header, and it will be in bold. That's the name of the file. So as you open it up, that would be the name of the file. So you're able to add new folders, add new notes, and you can add everything inside of here, and it'll all save inside of Obsidian. So here are some steps. You can go to settings, community plugins. You can turn on community plugins, and there is a warning about third-party code. You can click and trust that. Then you can browse and install. Here are a couple of plugins that you can use, or you don't need to use any plugins. It's totally up to you. So I recommend going and doing research before installing any third-party code. So do a little bit of research on it. But here is one that auto syncs to GitHub, and we could wire it up. It's something that we're going to mention in part 7. And this is a template for your notes. This is really great for SOPs and lead intake. And this is data view. Again, it's just a way to jumpstart your Obsidian, but you can do this all manually if you don't want to install any third-party technology and so forth. So another thing is here is folder structure. So I name mine, Scale Up Media Projects, and then I could program, inbox, and then another folder for my system. I can have user and agent and processes, build out all those SOPs and build everything out. This is just an example of what you could use and what you could walk through. One more thing is when I'm building these things out, I always have a Claude session open, or ChatGPT, whichever you prefer. But I have a Claude session open. So if I ever run into issues, I can just ask Claude, and Claude will help me to fix that issue. On top of that, if any of my trainings, which I always give these docs in all of my trainings, so you'll see that down in the description, you'll have a link to this doc. Every single training that I do, I give a doc. The reason I do that is because you can literally copy this. I mean, you could copy all of this and paste it directly into Claude or ChatGPT and say, hey, make my folder structure for me, or give me a prompt for OpenClaw or something like that. And you can use my docs to train your Cloud LLM, which then can help train your OpenClaw, Cloud Code, or whatever it is we're talking about. So definitely walking through each one of these steps. So here are the system files. And one thing, I'm going to come back to this, because for me, I'm going to have my OpenClaw build my entire Obsidian. So I'll have OpenClaw build my entire Obsidian folder structure for me. And so I'm going to come back to this. But if you want to do it manually, you can set up each one of these and go in, create the folders, create the notes, and set everything up. So you just click that button and then, type in the folder name and then put it in, etc. And then when you want to put in a note, you click that and then you just name it, whatever you want to name it, and it's a markdown file. So really easy to use, really easy to walk through in terms of getting your folder structure and everything all set up inside of here. So yeah, so I could just delete that file because I want to have my OpenClaw do all this for me. So delete. Perfect. Delete. Awesome. So yeah, I'm going to have OpenClaw write this entire thing for me. So again, I'm going to have OpenClaw do all of this. So I want to skip down to OpenClaw and then I'll come back up to it. If you don't want to do that, I recommend just copying this, putting it into Claude or ChatGPT and having it write the prompts and the rules to set up each one of these folders. And your AI system will just set it up for you. So now let's install the OpenClaw system. So I have terminal open and I'm just going to run that. And it's going to run and install OpenClaw. If you didn't have Node.js already installed, you would have to install that. So that was up a little bit. You would need to install that. But if it is already installed, it'll run and install. So it's running, it's installing, and we can keep moving through this. And next thing is we want to have that API key ready to go. You can use Anthropic API and spend some money. I think hatching in Claude Sonnet is probably, and use the latest versions as well. So if it's not 4, it might be the latest version, whatever. But, you know, the app will be able to install and do everything. And you want to use some of the latest versions, but Sonnet has been a great, smart, and affordable way to do this, and so forth. So yeah, just walking through that. So let's see where we're at. All right, create a directory, yes. And also, if you ever have questions in something that it's asking you to do, you can always copy it and put it into your Claude and say, you know, should I do this? And it will be able to tell you like, yes, go ahead and do that. I'm not installing any of those. Yes, I will have ZSH shell completion for OpenClaw. Now it's saying run OpenClaw doctor. So what that's going to do is just fix all the files and fix everything. So it's restarting itself and updating plugins, making sure it has the latest version, and so forth. So it's just going through the install. Gateway restarted, and it launched my assistant. So here's my assistant, and I'll need to connect my AI to it. If I didn't already have that connected, that would come up in here, but it appears like I already had my AI connected. So we can go and check that. Yeah, so I guess I already have my AI connected inside of it, which if you didn't have the AI connected, you would just be able to tell it like, hey, I need you to connect my AI and so forth. And it will set that up for you. So it will pop up right inside of here. So yeah, it's deployed. So OpenClaw is up and running. Let's continue through the document. And you can connect Telegram. Just for this, I'm not going to connect Telegram and go through that process, but you can connect Telegram and then you'll be able to communicate with Telegram. You just have to follow through these steps in order to get it connected and get it paired up and so forth. So let's go back to the Obsidian build and let's get it to build out Obsidian for us. So again, what I really like to do is I like to use, let me copy all this. I have my Obsidian built in projects /Obsidian, and I would like to have OpenClaw connect to my Obsidian to set up this folder structure for me. Please give me a prompt for OpenClaw to set up my Obsidian with this structure. So one thing that I like doing is I like having like this session, so it'll always be paired with, you know, my setup and my process, so it'll be up to speed with everything that we're doing. And then I like OpenClaw setting things up for me, because as OpenClaw does set up things for me, it will be paired and know exactly what we need to do. And it will know where the folders are, it'll know where the files are, because it set it up. So now you can see as OpenClaw is running, it's starting to build out the folders for me. So I have the Obsidian and then the Acme Marketing Vault, whatever you end up calling it. If you want to change the name of it, I mean, you can easily change the name of it. And this builds out everything that we have. So now we have agent, processes, user, and we start building out all the content around that. So OpenClaw built the whole thing out, and now it knows exactly where that folder is. Now we can move right through the training and go on to pasting in the system files. So I need to paste this in, and we can go step by step and paste each one of these in. So now we need to build out this, edit to reflect my business. And if your Cloud LLM knows you a little bit, it will be able to do that. But you can write it out a little bit more to give a little bit more context and so forth. I'm doing it for this video, so you're not going to sit here and watch me type the whole time. But for this, you know, this is a goal. We want to get off of a Cloud LLM, and we want to get that knowledge local. And it's going to be able to start building out each one of these points. And then we'll take this and give it right back to OpenClaw. And then it's going to be able to start writing what it is that you do and start adding it into the system. Then OpenClaw is going to be training your Obsidian, and that's going to be your second brain, and it's just going to start building out. So from there, that's not necessarily right, but now it's asking a bunch of questions. Please fill in the questions just for a demo. So yeah, you need to fill it out. Talk to your LLM, talk to your engine, and then this is going to cut back on a lot of this time, because this would take a lot of time for you to train your Cloud LLM in order to do this, and it comes out wrong all the time. But you know, this is just for a demo, so that's fine. And I don't live in Cape Coral, which is interesting. It's interesting. It's just interesting that it does things incorrectly all too often. And let me post this in, and it will build out each piece for me. So I can train OpenClaw to do this. So I have an option. I can train OpenClaw, or I can take each one of these line by line and go into Obsidian and add each one of them in. So that would be agent, I think, which one were we doing? User. So that would be updating user. So now it updated it. I mean, it's not really correct, but I could go in and say, my correct name, etc. But for the demo, we're getting it going. And from there, you can go to each one and do the agent next. So do the same thing for agent. Again, this is just a demo walking you through step by step how to build this out for you. But you're probably going to want to give a little bit more context to your Cloud LLM to give it a little bit more information. But I just want to show you end-to-end on walking through this document and how to use this document in order to get this moving. So just some pipeline rules and some content and so forth on what we're doing. Paste that one in, and now we'll grab this one. And I'm training that, so it will build out that one. And now build this prompt for OpenClaw. So it'll build the next one. while this one's running. It's adding more in for that on the agent side. And so you'll be able to click in and confirm. And, that's another reason why I really like using Obsidian, because you can have this open and you can confirm, each thing that's going in and each thing that's being done. And, that's why I like using the Cloud LLM, because it should have some understanding and knowledge of what it is that you do. And then it will start, feeding everything to OpenClaw. And the goal is, let's get away from the Cloud LLM and train your second brain locally to do each piece a little bit smarter for you. And I'm just kind of pasting and typing at the same time. So, but yeah, so now give me a prompt for this one. And we'll take that one and add that in after this is done. Done. You can verify, go into leads, and I'll be able to verify. So we did leads. So now we have guide. So there's a guide on our templates and our SOPs and what we do. And we're building out each one of these pieces. And what I really like about it is OpenClaw will have some understanding of your projects and so forth as you do this with Obsidian in OpenClaw. And that's really helpful in order to have your OpenClaw be knowledgeable about what you're doing. So as that's running, again, you can add Telegram, you can add Slack, each one of those, and then you can use Obsidian Git. You can upgrade Obsidian. It's $4 or $5 a month, and then that will sync up to the cloud. Or you can remotely save if you want to. You can just keep it local, and then you can tailscale in, which is accessing via tailscale, which is a little bit more difficult, but Obsidian Git is fine. So here are the steps to install GitHub on Obsidian. And again, you can walk through these processes and get that installed. And you can ask the agent to start, wiring up everything. I actually had the agent set up the folder structure, so now everything is wired up. Then from there, we can confirm the bridge works. We can start giving it some tasks. We can start going out and, finding that audience. So now we got to teach the agent about our voice and what we're doing. So let me go ahead and put this into here and say, help me to write the voice for OpenClaw and have that saved in Obsidian. Please give me a prompt. Here is a template example. Again, you can give it more context. You can type things out and make it more specific to what it is you're saying. But for this, I'm just creating a demo and showing you the process, if you will, on how to get that working. So yeah, and then from there, we can start creating some wins. So we'll bootstrap some prompts and start looking for some leads. We'll paste this into the agent and so forth. So we'll do that next. So we'll get this prompt, and this prompt will get OpenClaw to create that voice and set up the voice inside of Obsidian. So whenever Claude decides to finish this prompt, we can add that in, and we're ready for it. We just need to get that rolling. So come on, let's go. Again, when AI gives you something, always read it. But again, I'm not really doing that for this demo. I'm just showing you the process, and be sure to go through and edit and refine. And, one point in, Claude, if it ever has issues or it's, drifting a little bit on your voice or what it is that you're doing, you can always ask me questions to clarify before you write the next prompt. So you can always ask it that, and it's going to be able to help you out. So entry stub, okay, content leading with this, stopping here for step 1. And then you can come here even and take this, and you can give it back to Claude, and then Claude is training OpenClaw on what to do. So, you can give that information back of the output to Claude, And then Claude is going to be able to give you that information back to OpenClaw on what to do. So, I'm just walking through the process and showing you guys this process and how to get this rolling. And really wanted this to be a beginner's guide and, walking through the process of, getting everything synced up and getting everything working. So again, I'm not reading every single thing on here, and I'm definitely going to nuke this entire build after I'm done because I don't run OpenClaw on this machine. I run it on a dedicated machine. So, we're just going back and forth, and I can go back to the doc and say, here are some prompts that I want to run. So let me grab all these, and we can paste this into the agent here. Here are some prompts that I want to run. Help me to train OpenClaw with a prompt. All right, so now I have the next prompt that's going to start scheduling tasks and moving through. So as you can see, we're starting to move into triggers. We're starting to move into follow-up. We're starting to move into, tasks that we're doing. We're starting to train OpenClaw to use Obsidian to start moving. So you see how quick we got into this, literally making this video live in real time with, some little hiccups from Claude along the way, but we're literally writing this in real time and moving through to start creating our outreach and the opportunity that we have. So here's another skill that we're able to create. So we can grab this, and I think I got all of it. So that's the research skill. So we can start here. Help me to set up this skill in OpenClaw to save and align in Obsidian for the brain. Again, write more context in. The more context you put in, the better it's going to do. But it's building out the entire vault for me right now, walking out step by step on connecting each piece. We don't quite have a client guide yet. We're doing the content one right now in terms of content that's going to go out. There is a guide for content already, but literally we're going through and we're building this right now, step by step through the process. And then you'll see the graph view as everything starts interconnecting and projects start interconnecting as you go. But you'll be able to work with your Claude, and you can even give it screenshots of, Obsidian. You could put it back into Claude or ChatGPT, and it can start making some of those connection pieces for you. And we're building out this entire brain inside of Obsidian that OpenClaw is now reading from that brain on everything that you're doing. And if you've used OpenClaw before and you felt like it fell a little short of, basically what you're trying to accomplish, it's this process and this workflow with the latest updates of OpenClaw and pairing with Obsidian and going through this workflow that is really going to make it smarter. So we're getting towards the end on each one of these pieces. I mean, you can keep going through and build the research, competitor analysis, the analytics, digestion, and so forth, and start building out all of those pieces. Then you can start building out the automation list and start going through these prompts. Again, I don't want this video to be an hour long, but if you took an hour and went through each one of these steps, you would be able to walk through to get each one of these steps up and running to have your OpenClaw start running and doing these things. I also want to include this troubleshooting the troubleshooting cheat sheet, so you can go through this if you run into an issue here or there. Again, you can always use Claude as for your troubleshooting, and if you run into issues, you can take the troubleshooting steps, put them into Claude. Claude can help write what needs to do to fix it, and so perfect. So yeah, from there. OpenClaw skills, you'll be able to build those out. You can add Gmail and calendar. You can build out those skills and get that running. and you can start running sub agents. You can move into all of that. Also, inside of our community, we have over 400 members in here. I have a ton of training on OpenClaw inside of here. So I have installing, this is local and VPS. This is going a little bit further with Obsidian. I have an uninstalling, which will help fix issues if you run into any issues. Updating OpenClaw step-by-step on that. Multi-agent and with sub-agents and multi-project config. That's something that you can also learn from. Security hardening, so we have a full training on that. I also have a training on YouTube for that. Session commands and messenger services, so you can stop burning tokens on your messenger service. And Mac versus PC versus VPS, scheduling cron jobs. I have a full training on that. Prompt caching, token calibration guide, so you burn less tokens. You'll see the tokens that are burned down here. So there's 13% context on that. So I'm not burning that much right now, but as you really start getting into projects, we have a full training on that. Here's how to install skills. Here's how to set it up for lead scraping and cold outreach. Here's how to build a mission control center dashboard, intro to UGC content, HeyGen workflow automation, autonomous SaaS project management in Claude Code. So your OpenClaw can actually run your Claude Code. If you have Claude Code running, OpenClaw can manage it and run it for you. Automated SEO content, machine learning skill, OpenClaw content analysis and CRO, Google Workspace and client services through CLI. And this is basically what we're talking about now. I'm going to keep putting more videos in here, and we do have our community. We do a live call every Wednesday. So I encourage you guys to come and join. We have one coming up on Wednesday. And you can always submit your questions, and each week we, talk through the problems that they're having and any bugs or any issues that you run into. We also have a full-time community IT support that can help you troubleshoot and even get on video calls with you. So that's at macganzak.com, so you can go there and sign up and join the community. But hopefully you found this helpful going through the Obsidian walkthrough. And here's a quick reference guide. And here's a sample prompts library in order to get it kickstarted. Again, always put these into Claude or ChatGPT to help write out the prompts a little bit more for you. And, you're a couple steps away from having that AI agent, having a smarter brain, and being able to do work for you autonomously. So hopefully you guys found value in this. Be sure to subscribe and also leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to help you. We will see you guys on the next video.